Hello and welcome to Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics. This is your host Cyrus, where we talk about complex supernatural subjects. I know I begin a lot of videos by saying that I'm sorry for not getting up videos again more consistently. There seems to be a strange phenomena these days of the days just passing into each other one after another, and sometimes I lose track of time. And I think it's become a combination of the pandemic, my sickness, kind of wanting the weeks to progress very quickly so that all of this just kind of finishes and that things get back to normal again. And I do feel like things are on that trajectory, both inside my body as well as in the world. But it also seems like it makes the days go by really quickly, and suddenly before I know it, a week has gone by and I haven't done half the things I needed to do for that week. So here I am again. It's Wednesday in the middle of October, and let's hopefully get back into some more videos. So in this video we're talking about what is the one thing that deceased people, that quote dead people, fear? What is something they're afraid of, at least in terms of spirit communication? Well, what is spirit communication? Well, this can happen in dreams. It can happen in astral projection states, out-of-body states, by really talented mediums, through signs and communications, clairaudience, automatic writing. There's many ways that they can contact us. EVP is another way. That side of the veil is constantly making contact with our world. And it's, of course, been recorded for hundreds of years. You can go into the nuts and bolts, nitty-gritty evidence about this by looking at like my first book, Understanding Life After Death. So we know that this is real. We know that this goes on. And, we talk about this a lot in this channel. If you go through the archives, there's dozens and dozens of videos on this channel. Hundreds of videos now, I believe, talking about different subjects, talking about the evidence and all of that. So in all that research that I do and all of that, let me get rid of the little mini me on the bottom right side of the screen. I forgot to close down my app. Okay, that looks better. In all the research that I do and all the work that I do note that there are similarities, commonalities with things the other side tells us about their world, the things that they do, their motivations, the way people on a higher dimensional spectrum of reality look at us, the way that they view us, what they think about us, and some of the insecurities and anxieties that exist for them, and the fact that they can still be afraid of a couple things when they're coming to speak to us. So before I reveal what those things are, it's a couple quick notes. Thank you for watching this channel. If you go and hit that subscribe button, it really helps. If you look down the bottom right side of the screen, if you want to get involved, join our private patron group, get involved as a patron, help keep this work going as I research and write books and manage the communities and all that. You can join at where it says Afterlife University up there on the top right of the screen, and that will take you to the page if you want to sign up for the private groups, work with me personally, unlimited coaching, learn about astral projection. All that good stuff is available to patrons of this channel and of the group. All right, so to continue. So what is the thing that deceased people fear? What is something that worries them about communicating with us? Well, there is one thing that's very consistent, and it may even explain some of the strange elements of this field. And that is, quite simply, the fear that people will learn about the truth of what the other side is like, and they will take their lives. That they will decide that, if the other side is so great, why am I on this side? What am I doing here? And they will basically negate their own kind of soul agreements that they'd had for their lives, or it causes an impulse along those lines to take control when they suddenly feel like they don't have anything to live for here. Maybe they have something to live for on that side. So spirit communications have historically been very hesitant about that, and I theorize it's why sometimes we hear choppy information from spirit's side about what their world is like. Sometimes they don't want to give up certain information about what their life is like. And they're not doing it because it's this big dark secret. They're doing it because they're afraid of overselling their world. They're afraid of saying just how much better it is to live on a higher dimensional realm, to live in what our religions and philosophies call heaven. that if they oversell it, that if they elaborate on just how good it is, it may cause this problem. The same thing with if they create absolute proof of their existence, and there has been absolute proof, but it's similar to the ETs landing on the White House lawn, which, if you look at the headlines lately, I think we're getting closer and closer to that happening. But it's a similar thing. They're operating on a similar level as an advanced civilization in this spectrum of reality. They are a more advanced civilization, and they worry a lot about that. They can't just reveal themselves and just come out of the clouds, because then people wouldn't have a reason to live this world. At least that's what they think. I even think it's why certain spirit communicators have almost made their world sound not as nice as this one. You'll hear spirit communicators say, you can eat food and it tastes amazing. You can enjoy all your physical activities as here, but you can also teleport and travel the cosmos and get in spaceships, and you can, be telepathic and be in multiple places at once and travel through time. You can do all this amazing stuff. And then you'll hear spirit person B describe the afterlife as being this kind of dismal place where you can't really do any of that. You're just kind of bobbing around waiting to reincarnate. And I've always found it curious that you get these two perspectives. One that has an afterlife that fulfills everyone's hopes and dreams and is constantly exciting and interesting and amazing by the standards of our lives. And you have this very dismal, very crappy afterlife that certain mediums and certain authors and certain people promote. And then a concept like hit me out of the blue. I think that some of these sort of more dismal depictions of the other side, it's not always so much that the medium is a fake medium, or it's not real spirit communication. Sometimes it may be that the spirit with whom they're communicating to is not trying to oversell their world because they're afraid of the consequences for doing that. And if people actually think that there's things about this life that make this world better than that side, then that would negate that possible motivation to end their lives on this side, which they really are afraid of people doing that, because it's not something you want to do, short of, if you have an illness that doesn't go away or you're in pain. I understand that perfectly well, but out of a state of like depression or anger or grief, like you want to stay in this side, you want to stay in this world, and create this kind of spiritual progression that we're able to do here, right? That's my personal view. And look, you may have a different view, and that's fine. But what Spirit has always said, and I've always stressed, is that I don't believe in, quote, soul contracts, but I think that there's soul agreements. There's intention behind our higher selves coming here. And with that intention, we carve a rough plan of things we may experience here, of things we need to work out within our souls. And crossing over prematurely negates those things that we had planned, which ultimately does affect our ability to enjoy life on that side as well. So the point is that they don't want people to do that. Now, does this mean that they're maybe intentionally spreading false information about their world? I think sometimes that could be the case. But I also think that there's another side to this argument. As someone who writes about the afterlife for many years now, works a lot in this area, I've never seen anyone become suicidal as a result of learning about this information. I've always seen the opposite happen. I've seen people renew a level of meaning in their lives. It really reminds me a little bit. There's a book I'm reading right now, which is an old classic. It's called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. I highly recommend it. And this book really goes into the extreme importance of finding that meaning in your life. And for many people, that meaning sometimes just doesn't come until you create a kind of spiritual foundation. And when you begin to see life in the context of greater realities, you see life in the context that the people around you who pass away, or they're not really gone, that you will see them again, you'll be able to interact and hug them again, that there is higher levels of existence, then this is what we call like a spiritual bedrock, a spiritual foundation. And for many people, this is actually the thing that cures their depression and brings them out into the light. Much more so than this subject inspiring someone to take their own lives. So I think that's a big point, and I even think spirit side they can make mistakes, and I don't think they need to be so scared of that. Maybe it could be an issue if the afterlife was so widespread, known, and proven that people stopped focusing on their lives here and began focusing too much on that side. That could become a problem. But I'm not so sure that will ever happen, because here in this world we're so planted with our feet into this reality, whether we like it or not, that it doesn't seem like that's a huge threat that's going to happen anytime soon. So honestly, I think that spirit side needs to chill out a little bit, provide more proof, give the straight deal about what the other side is like, and you'll find that it's going to help people's mental health here more than anything. And I don't think it's going to have quite the negative ramifications that philosophers on this side of the veil and philosophers on that side of the veil think. So that's kind of my commentary for tonight. But let me know what you guys think about that concept in the comments down below, and how everybody's doing right now, still during this time of kind of spiritual growth that's happening all over the world among many people in different situations. There's some more videos I want to talk about soon, especially also on the ET front. And I know some people are not into the ET subject, but there's so much news happening right now that I think it needs to be focused on. It was a really good film that came out called The Phenomenon, which is, I think it's one of those films that really helps push that concept out to people who are not fully believing that any of those types of things are possible. And there was this really fascinating phenomenon that happened in the 90s. It was the Zimbabwe school children ET close encounter that happened, where dozens of school kids went out and met with these ETs who landed. And this film actually catches up with those school kids into present day. And it's really remarkable, really powerful when I got to that point. And it takes a lot in the ET field to get me excited or move me. But that whole scene, that whole last part of the film really did. And funny enough, I heard about this documentary from watching freaking like mainstream media. So it's getting out there with lots of people being exposed to that amazing evidence of extraterrestrial stuff, kind of like the afterlife information. I mean, people's minds are going to open up more and more as that proof comes in greater and greater levels. And the consequences, I think, are almost always beneficial, whether it's ETs or the afterlife, whatever supernatural subject it may be. Opening your mind to those higher possibilities, it makes people happier. It can potentially cure people's depression. Just my thoughts. Anyway, you can get involved at Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics on YouTube. On Facebook, or also here on YouTube. Pick up a book like The Afterlife and Beyond, Understanding Life After Death, or Awakened by Death. All books I've either written or edited for more into the objective phenomena and the objective evidence of the afterlife. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll get out of this vortex of the days going by again and again and again and again and again, and try to remember to focus a little bit in the 3D reality and get more videos up and things like that. All right, that's it. I'll talk to you guys soon.